Hey, what's up, everybody? I got a question for you. Can a Rolex make you happy? You know, I'm actually not wearing my Rolex right now. This is a tag, but I can tell you right now, most conventional knowledge would say no. Now, I'm not the guy that's going to tell you that money buys you happiness, but I can tell you it's a good start. And nobody that's feeling broke that they can't buy themselves a Rolex is really experiencing the kind of joy that one can have from giving away 30. Hey, so the biggest thing that you might have seen on the internet, it got taken down, was how can RRCA become the Chick-fil-A of roofing while giving away all these Rolex watches? And, you know, somebody that has a local business that is a good guy on the internet, not going to say anything bad, but he just couldn't understand how somebody in my shoes could recognize salespeople, million-dollar earners in that way. And I can understand, like, if it wasn't raised in these capitalist ways, that maybe I'd fall into some of these, like, maybe socialist and communist thoughts. You know, as a man that has knocked doors since the age of 14 years old after 50,000 doors, I realize this is the land of opportunity. And this is a eat what you kill economy. And if you're going to sit on the sidelines and be a little pussyfoot, then you don't deserve to eat like the strong. And only the strong survive here in America. So actually, getting a Rolex can make you happy. And I'll show you exactly how in this episode. Whenever I'm able to look at salespeople as my most important customer, it changes my mindset, because it's my ability to onboard them into this business, train them for success, facilitate them being able to earn 7 figures in a year that really I determine how successful my system is. And one time I was $1 million in debt. I had people that had quit me. Some of my best friends had been with me for 5 years. I was literally down and out. And one of the first people that was with me long time ago was this guy named Jared. Jared, he's my dad's best friend's son, and my dad's best friend was a member of our company for a long time. He passed away, God rest his soul. He was actually the first video I posted on YouTube is a roof inspection video, and that's what legacy is all about. And Jared is Joe's legacy, and so Jared struggled, and just like me growing up, I had problems with drugs and alcohol, had problems with getting into trouble with the law. I've been on probation and been in the system, and it sucks. And you know, Jared's a young kid. After his dad passed away, struggled with a lot of depression, and you know, there's an epidemic out in America of pain pills. And let me tell you, you know, he's had some injuries playing football, and he got involved. And I saw a guy that is incredibly talented, follow me for years and years, but have problems putting it together due to these, you know, circumstances in our life. And one thing I saw about Jared this year was, even when he came back, when the world kept punching him in the face, he made a bounce back this year, spawned 3 offices, and Jared deserved to be recognized. And let me tell you something, that Rolex, it made him happy, it made me happy. It brings almost tears to my face to think about his dad, you know, even looking down on this episode, proud of his son. And my best friend growing up in high school, one of them is named Cagney. He stepped up. He ran our Panama City operation. Recently, we had a resurgence because Cagney recommitted to the blue-collar marketing method, personal development, saw the things that I was doing inside of Arte, recommitted once I clearly identified core values. People like Cagney needed to be recognized and elevated, and Cagney stepped up and went on the road on a tear, landed $1 million deals with me on one of the best runs that I've ever been on in my entire life. And so, you know, Cagney was a part of some $1 million deals, but a lot of times other people were getting credit. And what's funny is the guy that's a team player, he's the one that kind of gets overlooked a lot. That's why I had to give him a Rolex. You know, and it's one of these things where I know that made him happy, but it made me happy a lot more. And for the rest of his life, doesn't matter what he does, he will know that the journey that we've taken together were solidified, you know, by that timepiece. You know, just going on throughout this journey of life and roofing and contracting, great people, guy that is almost like my number 2, James Herron. He's worked with my uncle's company for 20 years. When he came over to RRCA, he's been incredible for the implementation of better business practices. And James, he's a utility manager. He's the director of building services. In his office right now, Pensacola, they're going to do $50 million in sales. He was always handing the Rolexes out. So I really felt like it was important for me to recognize James. That was the most value that anyone could expect to receive on Christmas, better than a Christmas bonus or better than a Rolex watch. It's just that not only is your boss recognizing what you do, but he's telling it in front of everybody else.
All right, so I do want to say congrats to everybody sitting here, because if it wasn't for everybody that's here, we would not be where we was. Thank y'all for this.
Yeah, James!
You know, there's a lot of times getting into controversy that, you know, you have to be willing as a business owner, okay, to deal with negative publicity. How do you deal with negative publicity? Well, all publicity, as long as you're willing to stand up, speak your mind, tell your story, is good publicity. There's another company out there, is a very big company, but you know, when my uncle went away, they didn't recognize their salespeople the same way. They don't give out Rolexes to their sales pros. And, you know, one of their top guys, Tyrone, was my cousin Ryan's best friend, sold millions a year for many companies, never got rewarded with something like this. And I was just grateful that I was able to step up and give him a Rolex. I know my uncle was watching. He was proud of Tyrone. Truth is that I'm interested in Tyrone's future as a wealth builder. I'm interested in Tyrone's future in teaching him how to advance his efforts in commercial. And I want to help him live his purpose and feel like he's a part of a family that will give back to him. And so $5,000, $10,000 on a watch, that doesn't mean anything to me. What matters is that I value these $1 million men, and it takes grit, it takes risk, it takes a lot of toughness. And Tyrone's displayed it for many years. And, you know, if you know Tyrone, if you sold with him and you were ever part of a company that didn't recognize you, chances are you're watching this thinking, maybe I could come to work with Lee and get a Rolex. And you're right, because every single person that sells $1 million, that collects $1 million, gets a Rolex at our RCA within 12 months. So I want everybody to know sometimes the negativity, you just have to overcome it with positivity. You have to, for everybody out there trying to bash you, you got to have 10 times more stories of things that you did to make the world a better place. And if you want more time, if you want to live your purpose and build wealth, if you want true happiness, Rolex can give you happiness. All you got to do is recognize, baby, make it bling. Look, I didn't buy myself a Rolex. I had this tag watch. This is a $6,000 watch. I liked it. Hey, until next time, look, never settle. This is Lee, over and out.